I'm Shantae, and welcome to the NexLevel Podcast, Conversations from the Other Side, where we are giving you tips and strategies to help take your life from chaos to balance. I am so excited because today we are talking about one of my favorite subjects, love. Everybody loves love. And today we are going to be talking with Natasha and Frederick about how to make love last. I am so happy that you guys have joined us on today, and we have some people with us in addition to it.
Right.
So why don't y'all introduce everybody on the couch?
You want to introduce yourself? This is Emmanuel Green, our oldest son. And then we have Yuri with us.
All right. And you know, we're having to do, hey, this is real life. So we brought the kids on to show y'all this is real life, okay?
They
Tasha,
go where we go.
And Fred, thank y'all so much for joining us and just agreeing to share y'all story with us, because y'all have one of the cutest love stories. I love y'all. Y'all are one of my favorite couples in the world, especially Fred.
Yes, because y'all are similar. Yeah.
Okay, we just a little bit. So why don't we start with the history? Where y'all started? How y'all started? Because I could tell a whole bunch, but I want y'all to share it.
You know me?
Yeah.
Okay, so Twitter. So today's Twitter is like business, right? But back when we met, Twitter was like where you it was more personal.
Like college?
Like college, yeah, like it was more personal. So we would send like subtweets to each other.
Subtweets. Okay.
So it was like
where you would say something, but you wouldn't tag the person, but that person knew that you were talking
indirectly
about them.
talking to them. So we knew. So our whole timeline would be filled with us having a conversation.
So I'll be like, just maybe something like, what you doing or something, and he'll tweet back or like, I wonder what, just give an example of something. It's been so long ago.
Well, yeah, it was like indirectly talking pretty much.
Talking to each other, yeah.
So yeah, we used social media before it was, I guess, real popular to use it, you know, to have, to flirt, have conversation. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, that is cool. But y'all lived in the same town.
Yes.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think y'all went to rival high schools.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's what
I went to the better high school.
Oh.
The other high school.
The other high school, because Tyler up in here.
Yeah.
And if anybody know anything about Tyler, the high school, it's only two high schools, so it's a big rival. And my school was better.
I'll let her have that one.
You'll let her have that one.
Yeah.
So y'all met on Twitter, and was it an instant love affair, or was it,
No, he was always harassing me. Mm-hmm. I was minding my own business. No, we actually went to middle school together.
Oh,
so we
okay.
knew of each other,
Kinda.
but not like directly, talking and knowing each other. So we knew of each other.
Yeah, but whenever, this was like around college, so middle school and then going to separate high schools, we didn't have the same friends, and then start tweeting on Twitter during the college time. So
how did it go from Twittering to we supposed to do this?
Oh, so I shot my shot.
Did you shoot your shot?
I told her to come over and let's play dominoes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Did you fall for that?
No, I had another agenda. I went.
But dominoes was
was
what the terminology that was used.
I was coming out of a really bad I wouldn't say it was bad relationship, but it was just like I was heartbroken at the time, and so I don't know how they put it now. I was like, I would say I was thugging.
You was what?
Thugging.
Okay.
At that time.
Okay.
Not now, of course.
That was your mindset. I get it.
But I was younger. I was like, I was just like trying to just talk to him, like not in a let's play dominoes type of way.
So you weren't really looking for a relationship at the time.
Yeah, or to be friends with anyone either.
Okay. You
but
just in that headspace.
Fred is really like a likable, lovable person.
He really is. A teddy bear.
And he's a gentleman and like sweet And so literally I came over there and we played dominoes and we was together every day since.
Every day since.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
every day since.
So what was it about him that helped to heal that broken part of you that you were experiencing at the time?
Well, he was just like so caring. He's very protective and like a provider, not in a sense of like material money type of situation. Like he's just like, are you okay? Do you need anything? He's always
gentle.
like, yeah.
I was gentle.
So and he's still that way.
Oh, and so at the time you needed the spirit of gentleness, or was it just the gentleness that? Because, you know, the Bible talks about with, well, no, it's love and kindness have I drawn thee. I'm about to say with gentleness. I'm about to answer.
I go hand in hand.
No. But, you know, it does, it draws out. And so that's really interesting that healed that part of you and really drew. Were you being intentional or were you just being you?
I was being very intentional. And I say that because I feel like that's part of who I am, you know, so it was easy. It wasn't something I had to like, you know, try to do or put on the front to do.
Yeah, he does everything with intention, so. But I was like the complete like we're kind of opposites, but we're the same at the same time.
Yeah.
So personality wise, like he's very outgoing and, you know, we're not the same in that sense, but we're both very like loving people and like loyal people. And so I was always like sometimes in situations where, you know, I would be the loyal person or just like a loving person. And then I found somebody who was similar to me and I was like,
Mutual. It was mutual.
so it was kind of like,
changed the game for
yeah,
you.
it was kind of like who gonna outlove who?
Yeah.
Or who gonna, yeah.
Wow.
Like in that sense.
Now that's beautiful. That is absolutely
It
beautiful.
was healthy competition.
Yeah.
It was healthy
That's
competition.
pretty cool. That's pretty. And Emmanuel, he said when you said we're both loyal, he was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, they both really are. So how did y'all make especially, well, you probably, it was always in your mindset. How did you make the transition, Natasha, from now I'm ready to get married? How did y'all make that transition? How did you know that, all right, this is it?
Well, our marriage.
We listening?
So we were only together for like a year. And then he had proposed to me.
When you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
So I was already like, okay, I was already ready for commitment.
Okay.
In my first situation, I was ready for commitment. I had already talked to God. I was like, you know, I mean, I just want to be able to be committed to one person and like, because I always knew that I wanted to be married. So I just was already ready for commitment. But I thought I was going to be committed to somebody else. And it didn't work out.
The plans of God.
Yeah. So I was like
God.
praying, and the person before was like someone for years I had been
Really?
like since the 8th grade. Yeah, crazy, right? And so when I met him, I mean, like start dating or speaking with him, like within a year we were already engaged.
But you know, it's interesting because it takes you going through a bad experience to be able to see beauty when it happens. It's just like David says in the Bible, had I not been in trouble, I would never know that you were a provider. And so, you know, you never know when that thing happens, what it is that God, what door God is opening, and the life that God has just set up and planned for you.
Right.
And I think that is just absolutely.
It's funny because you don't know your intentions may not be good at the time because when I went to go see him, my intentions were not good. But then God is probably like, yeah, go on over there.
I got something for you.
I got something for you.
So what you're saying is you got caught.
Oh yeah, I got caught, and I was like in the web,
and it's okay.
And been in it
That's
ever
good.
since. But he proposed to me twice. Yeah.
What's she trying to be? What's she being difficult?
So the first time I proposed, we weren't equally yoked. It was
Okay,
it
now
was
that's interesting.
it was more so her and her relationship with God was elevating, and I was kind of at a standstill.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was, and God told her, right now y'all not ready. So it was a blessing in disguise because we both agreed that if we got married the first go around, that we'd probably be divorced by now.
Yeah.
Just because of her and her relationship with God, it opened, it let her know. He let her know that y'all not ready.
So can I ask you just a quick question? And I know we're talking about love, and I don't want to get too far off of it, but you just sparked my curiosity. When you say your relationship with God was at a standstill, can you just kind of give us just a little? He was. Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. Can you tell us just a little bit of what that looked like? What exactly does that mean for people?
So
who don't know?
I was going to church, but not getting anything out of it. I wasn't looking to grow, from it. I would go out of routine. I would go out of just to say that I went. And I wasn't looking to build a relationship. I was just, cool with going, reading my Bible every now and then, praying whenever it was convenient, or something went wrong, instead of just thanking God for, the good, everything, just the bad and everything else. So I was at a standstill. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And so, how long had y'all been dating when you proposed the first time?
It was a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that
it was a
the
year,
first time.
and then you had to go get yourself right.
Yes.
So I was I was deep in my relationship with God. And so I was at the point okay, God, whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do. So even though, he proposed, and I was at first I was yeah. And sometimes, we had talked about getting engaged, but of course, I didn't know when or, even if he was going to propose. So it was a surprise, but, sometimes we do things first without consulting God.
Yes.
And we just jump into doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was yeah, of course I will marry you. And then I got into prayer with God, and then God was like,
You didn't talk to me about that.
You didn't consult me. And so I had talked to Fred. I mean, it was the hardest thing I had to do.
Man.
It was so hard because, you just told, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
When a guy takes the time out to go first, purchase you a ring, and then propose to you, that's a big deal. So I'm God, are you sure? How sometimes you be praying to God and he gives you an answer, and then you want to make sure, hey,
did I really
is
hear that?
that you, Lord, or is that the devil?
Especially when it's not what you, especially when it's going contrary to what you actually want.
Yeah. And then you're God, is that you or is that the devil? And so he was you have to break off the engagement.
Oh.
She bought me
I was crying oh no.
She bought me the ring
and then
back.
I brought it back to him, and I wasn't thinking I was okay, God, you don't want us to get married right now, but we're gonna still be in a relationship. Well, that was me saying that, but I didn't consult him are we gonna still, because when you break off engagement, that other person automatically thinks you don't want to marry me, you don't want to be with me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I brought him back his ring, and then we broke up, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
For 3 months.
Yeah.
And that takes courage.
Oh yeah.
That is real obedience. And that is not something that is apparent and easy to do, and is seen every day. That's real relationship with God. And you were willing to walk away from something that you wanted in obedience to God. And It just proves again why I love God so much, because he will, the things and the way that he blesses you in your obedience.
And sometimes he tells you, like, I knew I was going to get married. So God had already showed me I was getting married, but he tells you something, but sometimes you rush to try to get what it is, not knowing that at that time it wasn't the time. It's not the timing of what it is that he told you. So yes, he's telling you you're going to be married, but he didn't say yes tomorrow.
Yeah.
He didn't put a time on it.
You're just over there just doing
he's just, y'all, he's so independent, and he don't want you to hold him or do anything. So
this is real life.
Yeah, real life interview. Listen.
So y'all had this conversation, y'all broke up, and y'all got back together.
Yes, his relationship with God and his productivity. So I was like, okay, are you, he was comfortable at the time, and I was very ambitious. So I was already like, this was before I was in nursing school, and I was headed in that direction. So, and I was like, are you going to go back to school? Like, because he had got out of school. I mean, he had a scholarship and all of that, and he got out of school. And,
oh, baby,
It was and I was comfortable because I had my own place, I had a decent job, I felt like I was okay, I was content, and
for a single man.
I was content for a single.
For what it was that you wanted, you had to come up to a whole nother level, next level.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
Literally.
And so how did you get to a point where it wasn't her saying, this is what you need to do? You looked at yourself and were okay with, I need to change.
So I felt like that literally, like, God used her as a vessel, like to motivate me, to push me, to encourage me to get going. And I zoned everything else out, kind of zoned in on what, for me, be better. I want to be a coach.
Okay.
So I knew if I wanted to coach, I had to go back to school and finish, get my degree, and do that. So like I said, she was God literally used her, not only as my future wife, but just as somebody to help get me back on track.
Yes.
I started school.
Every
I just
good
didn't finish.
man is an even greater woman.
Proverbs 18:22.
Tell him.
I learned that. I know that one.
So where did we see each other again after those 3 months?
So we was going to a thing called college ministry.
No,
TJC at school. So I was getting back at school, and she was like going to class.
No, this is what happened. So I was already enrolled in college.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
But that day, let me tell you how God works. That day, all of my classes were dropped. Like, I was like, what? So I had to go into the late registration line to re-register all of my classes.
And you run right into him.
And he's in the late registration line.
Yes.
No.
I'm not lying. All of my class, because I early registered, because that's the type of person I am.
Yeah.
And
no.
all of my classes were dropped that day. Like, I was like, what is going on? And I had to go in the line, and he was there.
Once again, all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord.
And that was one of those moments. That was one of those moments.
That is just, and then was it an instant, okay.
When we started back communicating.
Yeah, I was like,
so y'all hadn't communicated at all in this time period.
We had stopped communicating, start, I guess, going our own little way. And
wow. Were you upset with God?
I was hurt. I was hurt, but I was hurt at first when he told me. But then, so I wouldn't say I was upset, but I was really hurt. Like, sometimes, being obedient, you're gonna be obedient, walking and crying.
Yes, you will.
But you're gonna be obedient. You like walking towards obedience to God. Like, oh,
we gotta do this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna walk and do what you say, but you gotta know
yeah,
that
but
this
you're gonna have
hurts.
to help me after this.
Yeah.
And so I had got to a point where I was just like, whatever, God, your will is, you know. And so you gotta have something better for me.
Yes.
That's how I was talking to God, like, hey, communicating with God, you know, because that's how my relationship is. Okay, well, Lord, bring better, because he did this, he did that, he loved, like, there was no negative things about Fred. So I need somebody that's better. Well, God brought me Fred, a better Fred.
A better Fred. Oh, I like that. A better Fred. and God brought Fred a better Fred.
Yes, definitely.
A much better Fred.
Definitely.
So you guys have now been married for
7 years.
7 years. 7 years. And do you the thing that Natasha, the things that you fell in love with about him, do you still love all those same things? Have they intensified? What is it?
Look how he ready. He ready to hear something good. He is I think they have intensified. So I fell in love with Fred because he was loving, he's a protector, he's a provider, he's caring, he's loving, caring, and protect. I wouldn't say overprotective, but he's a protector. So yeah, they got better.
Is he strict?
She talking to you.
Is he strict?
No.
No.
Not.
Not even a little bit.
What
I
is
was
one
shook
of the most challenging things that you realize, Fred, about being married?
The most challenging, I personally would say just making sure that we're seeing eye to eye, making sure that we're constantly working, just stay on the same level. Just making sure that we're constantly pushing each other, motivating each other, just being there for one another. They can get lost, over the years, especially when you have kids. One start focusing on one thing more than the other. So I feel like just making sure that you stay, on the same page, on one accord.
So how do you handle that? How do you make sure that y'all keep that balance in your relationship?
God. So we literally pray together, read our word together, take trips together. Just try to just make sure we always put family. God first, and then of course family close second. But.
It's okay. It's A-okay. We're good?
Okay.
Let me ask you this, Natasha.
Yeah.
What expectations did you have about marriage that you realized when you were dating, that once you got married, you realized, okay, yeah, that just was wrong. I was all the way wrong on that one.
You know what? I'm a very open-minded person. So it wasn't a lot of marriage around me.
Okay.
Growing up, like, I didn't have examples of people that were married. So I wouldn't say that I came into marriage with like high expectations. So I don't have moments where, and if you know me, like as far as like my personality wise, I'm more like laid back and chill. Like I didn't have any like expectations where I was like, oh, I think when you get married, you should be this type of way. I actually came in with like an open mind. I was mostly focused on what can I do. Like that's how I look at things. Like, okay, what are some things that you can do to be better as a person, individual for this person, because I'm adding on to him, and I was hoping that he was doing that the same, because that's the only type of expectation I had. Okay, what the same amount of energy or loyalty that I put into something, then I want it to be put into me.
What do you think has been the thing that has changed the most about you since you've been married? And I'm talking about just marriage. I'm not even talking about becoming a mother, but just being married. What do you think has been the thing that has changed the most about you as a woman?
I feel like I'm less selfish.
That's good.
Because if you, like, growing up, you know, we have a big family.
Yes.
And even though we have a big family, my mom made us all feel like we were the only child.
What do y'all believe is if you had to determine what the pillar or foundation of your marriage is, just one thing, what do you think it would be?
God?
God?
I was going to say, I believe God. Of course.
Y'all, listen, that's
I'm
marriage.
like, I'm there right now. I feel like
He's
we should.
over here like, oh,
I feel like we should know. We should
say.
Because they're both like,
what are we going to say?
if you asked us individually, both of us would say God. So I thought she should know that if we do it together, it'll be.
I didn't know if we was gonna go say three things, one thing.
If we were gonna do 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
You want me to say God,
Okay, I'm sorry.
God, communication.
Yeah, communication.
Definitely communication.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So for people who don't understand and don't have this type of relationship and this spiritual background, and so when you say God, what exactly do you mean?
Make foundation. God is our solid foundation. So whenever we have our disagreements, our when we don't see eye to eye, that's what we literally lean on. That's what we have to kind of depend on to help us look for that peace that surpasses our understanding.
Yeah.
Because it's two different personalities coming together, and so some days, we're human. So some days, you don't feel like sacrificing or being nice, but so when you go off and you get upset or there's an argument, and then you go off, if you have that relationship with God, God is like, okay, you went off, but you gotta come back.
Come back and check
And
yourself.
Sometimes you gotta come back and apologize.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't. Yeah. So that's why God is our foundation. Like we, even whenever it's rough and stuff, it's like that's what holds it together. Because when we want to go off being ourselves, and we're like, okay, and then God is like, okay, now y'all, I gave you a moment. Now come back.
Come on back.
Because this is a union, y'all together.
And I was never really a solid communicator. Like, I was never really good at communicating. How I felt. So between her and God, they brought it out of me, helping me learn how to communicate. Especially as the head of my house.
Yeah.
I had to be able to communicate things, how I felt. What I wanted to get across, just overall, just communicate as husband and wife, as one.
That is beautiful. Beautiful. So with so many, with the divorce rate and so many old, but mainly young couples getting married and divorcing right now, and you have a lot of single people who are looking for marriage and trying to prepare for it and different things like that. Speaking first to couples, what is one piece of advice? Fred, let's start with, I'm gonna give this one to you. What is one piece of advice that you would give to new couples right now, newlyweds right now?
Become best friends. We talk about everything together. From like, look, when we get off, our first thing is, how's your day at work? Tell me, how's your day? What's good, bad, what happened? So that's literally my best friend. So I don't have to worry about trying to, go out and confide in anybody else, but I can confide in her about whatever.
Yes.
So be best friends.
That is beautiful. Natasha, now I want you to talk to single women who believe that they're ready to get married, okay? What is a piece of advice that you would give to, what's something that you would say to her right now?
Are you saying if she feels like she's ready
She's ready.
She believes that she's ready.
She believes she's ready.
I would say just be confident and, continue to, even though, because it's hard. It's not an easy thing. Some single women, they are like, I'm ready, don't even date.
Well, true.
That's crazy to me. Like I would have never met him if I wasn't open. I wasn't dating. They believe like, you know, and we always say, you know, a man who finds a wife, but you gotta be where he can find you. Mm-hmm. You can't just be, you know,
in the house chilling.
And I'm single and I'm ready to get married, Lord. And it's just that's as far as it goes. It goes between you and God. So you want to date and you want to be confident. And I wouldn't say, well, you also want to make sure that you kind of have an idea of what it is that you're looking for.
Okay.
You know, because you don't want to get into a relationship and you are a great communicator and that person doesn't even like communicating at all, mm-hmm. or doesn't have a spirit to try to do, you know. Mm-hmm. And so kind of have an idea of what it is that you're looking for.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
But go out and date.
Emmanuel, we finna get to you. I'm gonna ask them one more question, and then I got a couple of questions for you. Okay.
Okay.
You ready to take this home?
He ready.
Yeah.
You do your thing. He's like, I've been waiting the whole time to get on.
Waiting all his life.
This is my moment, and I will not let it pass me by. I have started this thing where I've just started asking people, and I'm just asking. I want both of you to answer it. Okay. What is love? What does love look like to you?
You gonna go first? Or
you
want
first. Me? You go first.
He's like, me? You could go first.
I'm gonna ask you.
It's definitely commitment, and it's love is so much.
It is.
It's sacrifice. It's patience. It's forgiveness. Love is just so much. Sometimes I can't even put it into words. It's all of those things, but I would definitely say commitment. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times people think it's a feeling, mm-hmm. but your feelings, they change and they're fickle, but love is definitely a commitment and it's a choice.
That was. Yeah.
She took yours.
Well, I mean, it's
a choice.
That's all I'm gonna say. Like, yeah.
I choose to love him every day.
I was just gonna say.
And it's exciting.
I was just gonna say the fact, the idea of God like giving us the free will, you know, to choose to love. Like that's big to me. That's why I often say you have that choice. So every day, like I dedicate and choose to love her and my kids every day, the way that you know God loved the church. You know, just and I keep saying, I know we keep referencing, but I'm gonna keep
doing it. By all means.
Because that's our foundation. You know, so that's where we get our love from, to show to each other. You know, the way that he loves us, that's the way we're taught, and that's the way we try to express our love for each other. So it's a conscious decision, conscious choice every day.
Every day.
I love it. I love it. Emmanuel, what's the best part about having Fred as a dad?
Look at him. You gotta answer your question. You gotta talk to her.
You know, out of the mouth of kids come all sorts of stuff. This your big moment.
Why do you like that being your dad?
He said, okay, that was too complicated for me.
He played with you? Tell her. She asked you that question.
He played with me.
He plays with you?
What kind of
playing? What do you love most about your mom?
Y'all asked the daddy's baby about.
Yeah, that's.
You don't know what it is?
You don't know what it is?
You don't know what it is?
What is it? That you buy me stuff?
Oh,
she buys you stuff. All right.
High five. That's all right with me too.
All right. Thank y'all so much for joining us on today. I appreciate the sacrifice, the drive into town to be here. And thank you, Emmanuel, for all of your help today. And you did real good on camera. You got anything else you want to say before we get out of here? This your big moment. This is it. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Healthy tips on how to maintain a beautiful and healthy relationship. As we have as Fred and Natasha have so eloquently said, God is our foundation, and He teaches us how to love one another just as He loved the church. That is one of the most major foundations and the pillars to build a happy and successful relationship. And choosing to show up, choosing to communicate, choosing to work on yourself, and making the choice every day to love the person that you are with. Till next week, thank you guys for joining us.